Uncle Ron and stuff. Started raining on me outside, so I have to come in. I haven't got the dirt off of me yet, but you know. Anyway, outside, birds, ants, bees, species, all kinds of different species. And it got me thinking, oh, terrible bad thing to do. Eyes and hands usually, working the dirt, but leaves one of our multi-processors up here, free to do whatever it wants. And species came to mind. We are a species of one of many inhabiting this place, this space and time. And from a physics point of view, is space and time. And space is expanding and time is warped by the expansion of space and mass, and never be repeated. This particular, wherever we are, we won't be here again. Big surprise. But anyway, we are a species. And thinking about it, it's awfully nervy of us to take that we are the preeminent, I don't know, you could put a lot of words on it, species inhabiting this space-time. We're intelligent. If you look around, it's amazing to me when I see pictures of a city. I automatically think of all of the work that had to be done to create that. All of the mind, the design work, the physical work, the management work. And it's like, it's impossible. I mean, how did that, it's just beyond imagination that man could have created such things. I had this revelation once before when I was down at the beach. And I was walking along the water, and I would look to the right, and I would see condos and houses and roads and people and electric lights and, you know, mankind, all kinds of mankind. And if I looked to the left, I would see the ocean and the sky and the stars. And I was kind of split between the two. I have a tendency to lean to the right and say, oh man, whoa, we are something, aren't we? Look at that stuff. We did. We made amazing stuff. We are amazing. And then I'd look to the left and I would see, you know, cosmos and unlimited, the ocean stretching out and the waves on it, breathing back and forth. And I was caught between the two, and I saw sort of a dichotomy. It's not a dichotomy, it was something else. But anyway, made aware then of we are a species. And a lot of, you know, part of the species thing that we are is we write things down, we have books, we have memories from people been writing stuff down for a long time. It goes way back. And you can read the thoughts of somebody from the 1500s or the 1600s or whatever. And that is in fact amazing, and I'm not sure from that perspective we are the species that does that. Other species left eggs, dinosaur eggs for instance, you know, and bones and things like that. And we have left bones. Lucy, the skull that was found at Alderby Gorge, you know, 1 million, I don't know how old. Although to me it seems like man as we know it, we think of man, is only about 400,000 years old, which is a blink, not even a blink of an eye in cosmic terms. When you're talking 13 point something, 7, 8, 6 billion year old from the Big Bang till now. I don't even know what 1 billion years is. A lot. I mean, I know what 1 billion is. It's 1,000 million, right? That's a billion. 1,000 million. I don't know what a million years is. It's 1,000 years, right? Lost in the big numbers. Big numbers. But 400,000 is not a big number. So all those cities, electricity, lights, everything that we have, as you look around, you see the shaping of metal into cars and all of the mind that went into the design and development of that. That's us, and we are amazing. There's no doubt about it as a species. However, it seems awfully presumptuous of us, I think, to declare that we are the primo species on this earth without some kind of awareness that we are in fact just another species. And again, books and so on, and poetry and writing and exploration of thoughts, and one of the things is death. You talk about death. We have religion to deal with death. We have medical death. We have all kinds of thoughts about it. People have written about it. We have rituals about it. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff. All species on this planet die eventually. There was a song and a lyric in a song one time about gravity which pulls us down. And I did look it up one time. People who live at very high altitudes have less gravity on them. And so, they should live longer. The problem is that the higher you're up in the sky, the more bathed you are in various cosmic radiation, some of which is such high energy. If you get hit by it, bang, your DNA gets whacked. Airline pilots have higher tendency of various cancers than other segments of the population because they spend so much time up in the thinner air where radiation, they're bathed in it. And but as a species, we're just like any other species. We're born, live, and die. We have, sometimes I've written about it, like, why was I born in this particular species? Not only that, but why was I born white in America? I don't know. There's been books written about that, karma, there's all kind of stuff, Tibetan Book of the Dead, books, thoughts, revelations, the Bible, been around long time, 1,000. I don't know, the Bible got formulated in text in 500 BC, 600 AD. I know that Christ was declared divine in 400 or 500 AD. The church, that's when they officially got his divinity blessing by the church. I think it sort of went back farther than that, but nonetheless, there's been thoughts about it, writing about it. We all have to deal with it, wrestle with it. I was watching some war movies, and death is part of war movies, and I don't understand why we can't live together. Why do we have to kill each other? It's bad enough we're all going to die anyway of some malady or an old age. You die, he passed away from natural causes, Natural causes, that's just because he got old. Aging is a weird one. Why do we age at all? You'd think, well, the biology of species. And the biology is an applicable word to use to trees and flora and plants and so on. Interesting concept to me. I can understand plants and trees and anchored in the earth and the sun and the heat and the nutrients and blah, blah, blah. That all makes sense. But then ambulatory critters, critters like us, we're ambulatory. You can get around, we move around. Birds flying, it's like, whoa, how did that happen? Well, evolution, Darwin says, Anyway, we are just simply a species like any other species. And I think we could probably do learn a lot about ourselves by examining and tracking and doing research and longevity studies and all that kind of things. on other species. Chimpanzees and the gorillas and orangutans and armadillos, and you start naming off all of the various animals there are, jaguars and tigers and elephants and tigers, oh my, variations of species. That in itself is interesting. How did we spring out all these different species? You know, what was the driving force behind all of that? Obviously DNA is in there someplace, but, and I read one time like our DNA is shared by, 60% of our DNA, some such number, it's a big number, is shared by all living stuff, which is, I think I got that right. I don't think I'm telling you a fib here. I think this is true, and you can look it up yourself, which is like, what? What? How does that happen? What is the story on that? You know, okay, Bible, God created us all. Okay, there's the answer. No, not any more to think about. Right? Done. From me, a curious mind and science-oriented, I like equations. I really do. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 apple plus 1 apple equals 2 apples. It's straightforward, it's truthful, it's simple, whatever. But a lot of things don't have equations. War, yeah, it does have an equation. Attrition, I was reading the other day talking about drones in Ukraine. I think the Iranians are mass producing suicide drones that they pilot into tanks and armored vehicles, and self-destructs the drone, but also destroys the tank. It's a suicide drone. And so they were talking about how to counter those things. And anyway, you can use a missile to shoot down a drone, but the drone costs like $5,000. The missile costs $50,000. So war becomes economics at that point, and you can't do it that way. You can't spend $50,000, $100,000 on a missile to shoot down a $5,000 or $500 drone. It doesn't work. It's bizarre. It's the same kind of thing I find bizarre and weird. When you have airline accidents, human life is evaluated at a certain dollar figure. Like Boeing, when they had a problem with their aircrafts, they made a settlement to all the people who lost relatives on one of their aircraft, and they come up with a number for human life. It's like, it's bizarre to even think about such things. But when I was in Korea, I wasn't involved, but one of the other units, we had these armored vehicles. The roads were very narrow. People rode bicycles. They had little tuk-tuk, one-cylinder tricycle things. Somebody wound up hitting, killing a South Korean. I don't remember, I wasn't there, I don't remember, but I heard the story. And that, the family gathered right at the roadside, and the unit did not leave. It wasn't hit and run. And I think they settled for $50 or $40 or $60, I don't know. They paid the relatives a very small amount of money for the life that had been accidentally taken during a military exercise or a run. And, it was an accident. I'm not, but nonetheless, the whole thing was dollar value. What's the dollar value of an ant life? I don't know anybody. I have to look that up. I doubt there's one associated with it. There's so many ants, and you don't, anybody think about it when you step on an ant? Accidentally or otherwise step on an ant? That was, just think of the ant life, how it came to be, a species. Species. We are just a species, one of many, in this time and space. We have accomplished some stuff. I had a friend tell me that it still took open question for him whether intelligence really is a positive contributing factor to the success, long-term success of a species. And you have to wonder about that. Our species have created nuclear weapons. which can wipe out this planet and all life on this planet. So our intelligence, is it really, I mean, is it a long-term? They talk about sometimes where is intelligent life in the universe? With so many stars and so many planets, it ought to be teeming with life out there somewhere. And then you get down and say, okay, well, there are various developmental stages. Perhaps half of them are still in the caveman days, and they don't have any technology to tell us that they're there, or no way to transmit a signal or anything. And somebody came up with the idea that, given that civilizations rise and fall over time, that there might be barriers, evolutionary barriers, that species cannot get past. For example, we have nuclear weapons. So far we've only used them twice, and that was during World War II, and there was a lot of controversy that we should never have done that, because yeah, of course, it ended the war and saved a lot of American lives, but unfortunately it let a genie out of the bottle. You could rationalize. There are times when total destruction was warranted, and people, North Korean guy might rationalize that, yeah, his time has come. The only way, he's not going to be able to save his people, so he just launches nuclear war on the United States, and everything gets ended. Is our intelligence, for all we've accomplished, really a long-term benefit to our survival? And the point about the cosmic wise and teaming is maybe one of the barriers is cultural and society and those sort of things. They develop some kind of life-ending weaponry or technology, and they, eventually somebody pulled the trigger and it went away. And can we get past that, or can we get past pandemics, population growth, food shortages, biological viruses, evolutions? Can we get past all that? I don't know. This is a big long ramble. The point being is we are a species. Species that inhabits the same planet as all these other critters, and yet we seem to put higher value on our being than others, and I'm not sure that's the right thing to do. To me, all life should be precious, sacred. The fact, I don't know if everything has conscience or not, or feels emotions or not. It's, everybody's, yeah, of course they do. Maybe they do. I don't know. Dogs, you can, I don't know. This whole thing is about species. It's a ramble. It really doesn't go anywhere. But anyway, it's something to think about. And remember, we're just a species. We're born, we live, we die. Maybe we leave some history behind. I don't know. We have rituals, so there's maybe a gravesite. But even that, when the sun goes supernova in whatever it is, 4 billion years, it will totally engulf the Earth, and the Earth will be basically incinerated or made non-livable. So even no matter if we don't take care of ourselves with our own devices, it's going to be taken care of by the sun. And we might be able to escape into some other planet in the solar system, but without the sun it's going to be tough. We better have a lot of nuclear generators or whatever it is, and we're not going to have any light or heat. Blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. A species discussion today, and there